Hey, your mom just died. Can I list her house? Good afternoon. Wow. Got a story today out of Vancouver. Uh, as a real estate broker, as a real estate agent, you feel for some agents when they do something really bad. And then other times it's like, you reap what you sow. I just want to get right into the article and come along with me on this story of cringe. So here's the headline: Intense real estate market takes toll on one Vancouverette's grieving process. It says the grieving process after the loss of a parent can be devastating at its peak before subsiding into numbness for many people. I totally would agree with that. So, for one Vancouver resident, that pain was amplified further following a knock at the door. Oh, so someone's coming over to offer their condolences. That's nice. That's when a Reddit user identified as East Van J found themselves being visited by a real estate agent offering condolences 2 days after the passing of the former's mother. Somehow, I don't think he was offering grief counseling, the Redditor recounted. I'm not going to name the agent if I can. I just feel terrible for the whole situation. And says, then the agent proceeded to ask who was now living in the house and what our plans were. Oh, bad. I know the Vancouver real estate agent market is hot, but it's stunningly insensitive and offensive. So it doesn't, this person's right. It doesn't matter if it's really hot or not. There's just certain things you shouldn't do. But the agent told the newspaper, the journal, that the encounter was a mistake and he has since apologized via email. I understand it's a difficult situation. It's an innocent mistake, like bad timing and everything. He said his own mother was friends with the Redditor's recently passed mother. So the managing broker of the office said Lynn's outreach came from a genuine place and that the Redditor has not acknowledged her firm's overtures following the apology. I always get really sad when somebody who is a very good person and a very excellent realtor does something that in retrospect could have taken a moment and said, Mom, I don't think that's a great idea. If you were in his position, what would you think if suddenly your phone starts ringing and people are yelling at you and accusing you of things that are threatening your family? This is an unfortunate situation where someone was just doing something that they thought was following what their mom suggested would be a good idea, and it was not a great idea in the long run. No, it wasn't. It's just this whole social media environment that we're in right now. It can be very toxic. And so I've got some thoughts about that. But I wanted to keep going with the article because what's interesting is it goes into an enforcement logic. So the journal goes to this the BC Real Estate Association. It says the spokesman confirmed that her organization received a complaint pertaining to this matter. However, such a complaint is outside the jurisdiction of that organization. So you there's really nothing against the law for you as an agent to go and ask somebody if they're going to list their house after someone died. That's not against the law. It's gross, but not against the law. And it's not against the rules of the organization. Now, they're going to try and pin this as such, but it doesn't work. It says, realtors are trained and expected through mandatory education and National Code of Ethics to not only meet their legal and regulatory obligations, but to always exercise good judgment and operate within respect and professionalism. Yes, but they don't. People don't always exercise good judgment, and it doesn't matter how many classes they take. And then the rest of it is, if someone has concern about someone who's licensed, has conducted themselves, they should contact the real estate counsel. But it goes on to say, under the rules, agents are not permitted to knowingly publish false advertising. Now, this isn't false advertising. If the advertising calls or visits continue, if someone you know is at risk because of unethical real estate marketing, contact the counsel. But that was in a blog post following a series of complaints that year about advertising and marketing techniques that appeared to be targeting vulnerable people. Now, I don't know what the definition of vulnerable people is. It's unclear whether any specific rules within the organization's code of conduct apply to circumstances similar to what this Redditor recounted, but Article 21 says a realtor shall not engage in conduct that is disgraceful, unprofessional, or unbecoming of a realtor. This article is intended to deal with conduct that having regard for all the circumstances egregious in nature and goes beyond simple error. So the issue is if the conduct was disgraceful, unprofessional, or unbecoming of a realtor. So I have some thoughts. I just wanted to go over them with you. So there's boundaries as a real estate agent, okay? You can't wish death on someone just to list their house. Like you can't say, I can't wait for that person to die so I can list their house. That doesn't go well. And you really shouldn't door knock on houses where the person has just died. So like there's boundaries, right? We all think that's boundaries. That's okay. I mean, in any other business, is it okay to come after somebody after they've died? The only thing I can think of when my neighbor had a fire at their home, that night while their fire was, destroying their home, there was someone from a disaster, restoration company that stayed there all night and, met with them and talked to them. And it was gross, but that's the way the business is. And how they found out is they follow the police scanner. So anytime there's a fire at a house, they're automatically there immediately to try and introduce themselves and get the business. In this case, I had read a story from a lady that does real estate stuff a while back, and she said, she had once gotten in trouble because she went to a funeral. She just went to the funeral of a lady that she knew, and the family was mad at her because they felt like she was trying to get the listing by attending the funeral. Now, in my life, and this is how I'm going to handle it, if someone passes away, if a family member of someone close passes away, I'm going to the funeral. I'm not going to talk about real estate, and that's it. If they want to put something on me that's not there, that's on them. That's on them. So I did want you to know there are probate lists agents will use for leads. I don't use them personally, but I probably should. I think that I would prefer that my former clients know that I help sellers sell their home and that they would reach out to me versus me reaching out to them. But like in probate, it's not uncommon to get, hundreds of, pieces of mail from agents that say they want to list the house. It's like, and this goes to the next thing. It's in real estate, these sort of things are called life events. Okay. And life events are things that spur one to buy or sell a house. It is thought that a wedding, funeral, birth of a child, new job, etc., are times when people might want to use an agent. And so agents pay more attention to these things. And so that's true. I mean, there's a whole software system set up for when you average, like the average home ownership is 5 years. Well, it'll pull like the data for how long you've lived at a house. Okay. And then it'll pull like if something's happened, like if you filed a bankruptcy or if there's somebody new that gets added to the title or if they see something in probate or something. And then they'll send you that address so that you can advertise to it. Now, is it right? Is it wrong? Is it ethical? I don't know. All I know is that's the way the business is. And that's how it's been for as long as I've been in the business. Now what this person did was wrong. What this agent did was wrong. There's no question. But I mean, just looking at it is, should they have done anything at all? Like I said, my own approach is, I'd prefer that somebody knew that I was a real estate agent and can help and would reach out to me versus me, reaching out to them. Because think about it. This was 2 days after the person's mother passed away. It wasn't appropriate. Is a week appropriate? Is a month appropriate? We don't know the grieving process for these people. And so that's the way I look at it. And the story's on Reddit, and it did happen. So my opinion was that the Redditor was so distraught that they felt the best way to express this was to tell others. And I think that's a blessing. I really do. I think that the ability to say when something terrible happened to you, in an online environment, I think that's okay. I think that 20 years ago, when there was no real way to express when something bad happened to you, that made it even worse. And I think people took advantage of that world. Then it says the agent apologized via email, and that was good. And at least he made an effort. And the quote though associated with it, it's an innocent mistake, like bad timing and everything. I kind of rejected it was innocent. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. There's a purpose to it, and it was bad timing, and we all agree with that. And then I pulled this other quote. It says, the Oakland managing broker said that the fellow's outreach came from a genuine place and that the Redditor had not acknowledged her firm's overtures following the apology. My opinion is, personally, the Redditor has been gravely wronged. There's no obligation for the Redditor to acknowledge the brokerage, and the idea that the outreach came from a genuine place is ridiculous. They're trying to turn this on, well, we apologized, so it's okay. But no, it's not okay. And it's not the person that's been offended or aggrieved in this situation isn't the one that is required to make amends. If they choose not to, that's the way it is. So I don't like what it is the article starts putting the agent in a victim position. As the next quote comes in, it says, if you were in his position, what would you think if suddenly your phone starts ringing and people are yelling at you and accusing you of things and threatening your family? I personally would think that I messed up big time, and that's what I would think. I'm not for ganging up on somebody for doing something wrong or something like that. And this could have devastating an impact on this fellow's business, and maybe you think that it should. But I did want to go over the article. This isn't unusual. This isn't something that is strange. Real estate agents are looking for leads, and they're looking for buyers at all times. And it's bad. Sometimes they do the wrong thing. You could say, well, this is why people hate real estate agents. Yes. This is the reason. How is that different then from an iBuyer that's got their software set up so they send a letter to your house the minute that your family member dies? Well, it's marketing, so it's okay, I guess is how you would say that. You're not going to get someone to actually physically knock on your door and and ask about the house. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Put something in the comments below. Did you think that was terrible? I did. But whatever. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.